One of the many questions pertaining to the Skeksis has to do with both the Chamberlain and the General Skek. These two figures were the most prominent antagonists in the original film, and from the very first moment that we see them, they are at each other's throats. And they hate each other. But why exactly? Why did these two never get along or find common ground? Now, of course we know that none of the Skeksis were really on great terms. They all had these specific political alliances and often schemed behind backs in the shadows. But the Chamberlain and the General in particular were especially hateful of each other. They seemed to have a strong dislike between them. And realistically, that was for good reason. You see, the problem is that these two were literally polar opposites. The General was a warlord. He was the one who led the Skeksis and the Garthim in their war campaigns against the Gelfling, eventually resulting in the mass extinction of nearly all the tribes. That is what he did best. A planner, a strategizer, a commander, a bloodthirsty, battle-hardened leader who believed that his way of war and conquest was the only one. And on the other end of the spectrum was the Chamberlain, a conniving, snake-tongued Skeksis who believed in attaining and maintaining power through political persuasion. He was good at manipulating and pulling strings through the power of controlling the minds and hearts of the people. He believed that war was not always the answer, and that the masses could actually be very easily controlled without even shedding a single drop of blood. He believed that his pen was far mightier than the General's sword. And this is most likely exactly why the Chamberlain accepted the General's challenge to a trial by stone. Many are often confused as to why the Chamberlain, being so much weaker, would even consider it. And it was simply because he didn't want to back down. He didn't want to just roll over. He wanted to prove his strength, and even if he couldn't do that, at least prove that he had courage. They were both hard-headed and very set in their ways, completely and totally unmovable, no matter the circumstance. So, naturally, what do you think would happen if they were to work together every single day? Well, they would mix like essence and oil. It's just about the worst combination that you could possibly hope for. And yet, strangely enough, it was necessary for them to maintain order. Because if you only had war, it may have failed. And if you only had political persuasion, that may have failed too. It was the balance that existed between the two that secured the Skeksis' domination and solidified their right to rule. So, the next time you see these two on screen, keep all of this in mind. And remember that even though they were mortal enemies, they were both a vital part of the Skeksis' order. Even though in the movie, we don't see it because so much time has passed since the Gelfling genocide. But before this, their unique tactics and mindsets surely must have combined to compose a cataclysmic conquest. And in that way, they were the greatest team the Skeksis ever knew. So, what do you all think about the General and the Chamberlain's relationship? Do you have any of your own points to add? Leave all of your thoughts, ideas, opinions, and notions down below in the Great White Void. And as always, until next we meet, take care, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video very soon. For Thra, for Jim, forever.